Andrew Tucker, welcome. You are right now in New York, where the General Assembly of the United Nations took place. There was a conference where several countries like the UK, Australia, Portugal, France and Canada recognized the Palestinian state. Now, you are a lawyer, you are specialized in international law. Why are the countries making this decision right now?
They're doing this, it's a whole process that this is just another step in the process over the last year and a half. Since the 7th of October, the Palestinians, supported by mainly three blocks of countries in the UN, the Islamic bloc of countries, the Arab bloc of countries, and the African bloc of countries, have been pushing through the International Court of Justice for a ruling that it is time for the occupation ended for a Palestinian state to be established. That ruling or opinion was delivered last year. Since then, there's been a series of conferences leading up to yesterday's conference, the day before the General Assembly meeting. By the way, this is all at Rosh Hashanah, which started last night, the Jewish New Year. Today is the beginning of the General Assembly. Of course, Israel will not be present because they're celebrating this Jewish New Year, which is so important. It's remarkable that all this is happening just at the moment that Israel and the Jewish people are celebrating the beginning of a new year. This is quite typical. But the push is, Sarah, the push is for the establishment of a Palestinian state as the only way to peace in this conflict. And the idea that the two-state solution must be achieved at short notice, that's what's driving them. There's a strange logic here that they think that by doing this, they're going to pressure Israel to end the war, get out of the Gaza Strip. But they don't say how that's supposed to happen. Nobody has an answer to how to get rid of Hamas. At the same time, they're saying the Palestinians have a state now of their own.
Yeah, but the fact that these countries are actually recognizing the existence of the state of Palestine, does this mean that the state of Palestine now exists?
No, it doesn't. Under international law, recognition of a state is a political statement. Now, over 150 states have made that statement, but doesn't create a state. States only exist when they satisfy certain criteria of international law. So we have this very strange situation that politically a state has been created, whereas in actual fact it's not on the ground. The most important thing is not really the legality of it, but the fact that they don't have the institutions of statehood. They don't really have a government, neither in Gaza Strip nor really in the West Bank, that is truly governing its people. And this makes it so highly dangerous to try to create a kind of imaginary state on paper, when we don't have the reality on the ground. This is going to create chaos. This is going to create incentivization to violence.
So what do you think? You are a bit somber about the consequences on the short term. Do you think it would have any impact on the ongoing war in Gaza? Do you think it would build up pressure against Israel to stop the war in Gaza?
I don't believe so. Look, Israel's, of course, most important partner in the war is the United States. The United States is not participating in this whole charade of creating a Palestinian state. And the Americans are actually pushing Israel to push harder to eliminate Hamas as quickly as possible. So they are really at odds with what is happening here in the General Assembly. Israel, of course, will not listen to these demands because they don't really help Israel, nor do they help anybody get rid of Hamas.
So the interesting thing is that Hamas has responded positively to the recognition of the Palestinian state by some other states. Yet these countries say that there should not be a place for Hamas in this Palestinian state. So, for example, the French President Macron said that the recognition of Palestine will further isolate Hamas. Do you understand his way of reasoning?
No, I don't, because he's never explained why this is going to make it easier to get rid of Hamas. I think, on the contrary, Hamas is emboldened by all of this to say, well, the international community is helpless in achieving the destruction of Hamas. So, from their perspective, I think it only strengthens their position, not weaken it. So I don't understand this at all.
No. Well, Israel, on the contrary, has been reacting angrily to the recognition, and the current Israeli government is strongly opposed to the idea of a Palestinian state. But my question is this: has Israel done enough in the past to achieve peace, or do you think this recognition is a logical consequence of the behavior of Israel in the past?
No, I don't. I mean, it takes two to tango, obviously. There have been several very concrete offers on the table to the Palestinians since 1993 in the Oslo Accords. We had in 2000 particularly, and then again in 2008, and then again in 2016. All of them were rejected by the Palestinians. Israel has done an enormous amount just entering into the Oslo Accords to enable the Palestinians to achieve true autonomy and self-determination. But at the end of the day, to say, well, in the situation that we're in, you cannot have a completely independent Palestinian state without a complex peace agreement in which all kinds of guarantees are made, backed up by the international community, to prevent this Palestinian state simply attacking Israel, trying to destroy it. I think Israel's position is very reasonable. And of course, since the 7th of October, the whole question of two states is really off the table. You can't negotiate statehood when you're in war with a major faction that is really leading and governing that entity. So only when the war is finished will there be meaningful negotiations.
Yeah, well, another thing that was in the news lately was last Friday, the Security Council of the UN, they decided to reimpose the sanctions on Iran. Can you explain what was happening there?
So it's complicated. This is under the nuclear agreement in 2015, the JCPOA, as it is known, which suspended UN sanctions on Iran. There was a whole lot of sanctions before 2015 on all kinds of things, really hitting Iran hard. Under Obama, this agreement suspended those sanctions in the hope that within 10 years, the Iranians would give up their nuclear program. Now, of course, that has not happened. The Iranians have not, despite the attacks on them by Israel and the United States, they still have a nuclear program. And they're not complying with their obligations under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which is at the basis of this. So there's a mechanism under that agreement, it's called the snapback mechanism, which enabled the Europeans particularly to say, well, all right, at the end of 10 years, what we do is automatically reimpose the UN sanctions, unless the Security Council comes up with a unanimous decision to the contrary. And the Security Council has just decided that it's not going to do that, and therefore the snapback comes into effect. And on the 18th of October, the sanctions will come back into place.
Well, Israel has always stated that the nuclear threat of Iran is one of the biggest threats to their existence. Is this threat of Iran, the nuclear threat, is this also a topic that will be discussed in the General Assembly of the UN?
It will probably be an issue. I think it will definitely be an issue, but there's nothing, of course, the General Assembly can do. So the relevant states have already taken their position. As I say, that's the Europeans, the UK, France, and Germany. And of course, the United States is on the Security Council, but no longer party to that agreement. So there's no way that anything can change at the position taken by the Security Council.
Clear. My last question, Andrew. What steps do you hope that will be taken towards peace between Israel and its neighbors in the future?
Well, it's a difficult question. It's a very difficult war that's being fought at the moment. So, first of all, the war has to be finished. Hamas needs to be defeated, and then there can be a serious discussion about what kind of polity can be established to govern the Palestinians. But I don't see peace, at least in terms of an agreement between Israel and Palestinians, taking place and before the end of this war. So we have this strange situation now where the Palestinians believe they have a kind of state. The war is not finished, Hamas is not defeated, and we're no closer to peace.
So are you optimistic about the future or not so much?
No, I think it's going to be a long, very difficult road. I don't see a peace with the Palestinians in the short term.
Well, thank you very much, Andrew Tucker, for explaining this to our viewers, and I wish you good luck and God's blessing in New York.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.